Welcome to Hokey Religion, the Star Wars podcast. This is Tyler.
This is Michael.
Thrawn!
Ah!
Hokey religions and ancient weapons are no match for a good blaster at your side.
All right, welcome back. Michael.
Yeah, just keep getting higher.
Just keep going.
That's a good way.
Again. All right, that's enough.
That's a good way to start the show,
Yes,
right?
if you can call it that.
Okay.
So, our last episode we recorded, obviously, we mentioned this, but after day one of Star Wars Celebration, and we knew there were a few things that were coming out on the second day that we wanted to talk about as far as Rebels goes, and a few other little things.
We're
But-
talking EA's panel. We're talking the Rebel Season 3 panel. We're talking the Ahsoka panel.
Ahsoka was day one.
That was day 2.
No.
Oh. I was joking. What was the other one? There was a third one.
I don't remember.
Yeah. Rebel Season 3. Third
Thrawn.
one. Well, that's what I was getting to.
The most important thing that happened on day 2, as far as I am concerned, is Thrawn. Finally, he is brought back into the canon in Rebels Season 3. He was shown in the trailer. Of course, by now everyone has heard and seen and all of that, and it's awesome. But the even better part is they're bringing back Timothy Zahn to write a Thrawn novel.
Yes!
Which is awesome.
And it was just kind of buried in that whole deal.
Yeah.
That
It was
was
just like, oh yeah, no, Thrawn novel. Yeah,
They had what was it, like a pre-recorded video or something from him? Is
Yeah.
that what that was?
Yeah, just something.
Yeah.
Because I don't think he was there.
But yeah, he led with, I'm so excited that I get to bring this character back, and I'm so excited to show you guys, and oh, by the way, I'm writing this book about him.
I'm writing a book, called Thrawn. Yeah.
What? There's a new Thrawn book?
Yeah, so Timothy Zahn coming back after God knows how many years to write a new Thrawn novel.
And Timothy Zahn, not anyone else.
Yeah, like they got the guy that wrote all of the Thrawn books and everything that Thrawn was in to come back and write
so
a Thrawn
good.
book. So yeah, he's going to be in Rebels Season 3. We don't know, obviously, what that'll entail. Of course, Hasbro announced making a new action figure for him, which there's been one before, based off of the comic book series.
We're just getting right into this, aren't we?
Yeah. But no, I'm so excited about the novel for Timothy Zahn to write more Thrawn. And for this one, even though the other ones are so good and they're still my favorite Star Wars books, probably ever, even including the new ones. But this is a new canon, actually isn't going to be written out of canon. This will exist in Star Wars canon now.
We're getting right into this. There's a quote in here you've got that says, from Timothy Zahn, he says, with this book, I'll be visiting a part of Thrawn's life that I never before had a chance to explore.
Yeah.
That makes me wonder I guess not all of it can be canon, but is some of the stuff from the Legends books canon? Or will that be recognized as canon?
This was a Q&A with StarWars.com after Celebration, and one of the things I didn't note down in our notes, but he also had a thing, like they were asking, are you going to bring anything back from your other books into this one?
Yeah.
And he said, I'll put Easter eggs and little things here and there, but I don't want anyone to feel left out if they haven't read those books since it's been so long, things like that. But obviously Thrawn is Thrawn, and they wouldn't bring him back if they didn't want Thrawn and who the person of Thrawn is. So Thrawn as a whole obviously will probably still be the same.
So the character
But the story around what we had with Thrawn obviously is going to have to change at this point.
But the character that we got to know in the original Legends books it's the same.
The Thrawn. Yeah.
It's so exciting. Like
he was saying, they were asking, like, are you excited to come back and write it? And he was saying, yes, Thrawn was, you never know what characters are going to stick when you write a book, but Thrawn was so much fun to write for and come up with, his strategic things and the things that he did. And just, playing with that. So it's going to be the same Thrawn, and it's from Zahn. So it's going to be awesome.
Oh, man, I can't wait.
He said the book, Thrawn, will span several years of the Star Wars timeline, beginning with his first encounter with the Empire and ending just before the opening of Rebels Season 3.
Nice.
So we're going to get Thrawn's backstory before what happens in Rebels Season 3.
I wonder if we're going to get the same, the way he, related to the Emperor, where you kind of you got the feeling from the books that he never saw eye to eye with the Emperor, but he tolerated him. I
think Thrawn tolerated everyone, though. Everyone was beneath him, right?
Well, yeah, but the Emperor being the highest authority in the Empire.
But even then, Thrawn felt that he knew.
He
like,
used
was
everybody.
better.
He used everyone, but that's my point. He used everyone, including the Emperor.
Yeah.
Like, I wonder if we'll have that same type of relationship
That would be interesting.
in this. He's not really a new character, but you know, this iteration of him. Because that would be interesting to see how he fits into the Empire.
Mm-hmm.
Now that we've got like Director Krennic in Rogue One, this guy, we've got Tarkin, obviously, and now Thrawn, all in the same. That's so weird. Now that I think about it, they're all within that same kind of era.
Yeah, they were all kind of doing their thing around the same time.
Like just like the beginnings of the rebellion, pre-Death Star era.
Yeah, and
it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, and with Thrawn, it says it's gonna kind of cover, the beginning with his first encounter with the Empire. So we might get some kind of like the Thrawn or the Tarkin book. Where we kind of have
his origin,
his story beforehand, and how he got to where he is.
Right.
Maybe we'll have some of that with Thrawn.
Oh, that'd be so cool.
And if
get the level of detail that we got with Tarkin's origin for Thrawn, I think that would be incredible.
I'm just so happy that he's canon.
I mean, to hear
canon, new canon. He is canon. He will be in canon. He can be in other stuff now.
Even if his origin story sucks, you'll still be excited.
I mean, I don't think Timothy Zahn.
I don't know if it could. I doubt
Timothy
it.
Zahn's a great writer, and so far everything they've allowed to go through the Disney,
filter
process. Yeah, the Disney and Lucasfilm process. It seems like everything coming out is like really high quality.
Seems like it so far.
So, and I have full faith in Timothy Zahn.
Except Rebels Season 1. Still not a fan of that.
I mean, Clone Wars Season 1 was rough, I thought.
The Clone Wars Season 1 was way better than Rebels Season 1.
Probably. But Rebels...
Maybe my view of that is skewed because I went back and watched Season 1 of Clone Wars. I started in 2 or 3 and then watched it till the end and then went back. So maybe...
Yeah.
But it feels like more adult.
I like Rebels.
More serious.
I like Rebels mostly. I feel like it is still, even though they're putting some pretty heavy stuff in there as far as the canon goes, it's still catered to a much younger age because it's the Disney XD crowd.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It just doesn't feel as even though there's the darkness, especially with Maul and Ezra and all that. I don't know. It just doesn't feel as gritty as Clone Wars did, maybe.
Yeah.
Which maybe that's a difference between the Disney Channel and Cartoon Network.
I don't know. I don't know if the networks really had anything to do with that.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
But, I mean, speaking of that, the trailer from Rebels Season 3 seems like it will be a little more gritty. And
the way the Season 2 ended, I mean, spoilers for anyone who hasn't watched it, and honestly, I haven't watched all of Season 2, but I know how it ended. You've got
I did.
Kanan.
I actually completed something for
Kanan.
once.
I mean, Kanan is blind now.
Yeah.
You've got Ezra is like being pulled to the dark side by Darth Maul. Ahsoka may or may not be dead, but I doubt they'll.
Which is funny because it's almost treated as if Maul's involvement is okay because he said he wasn't a Sith. He was kind of spurned. Yeah, he was kind of spurned by the Sith, so he has kind of rejected them. So it's like. It sounds like from the way Season 2 ended and then what was in the Season 3 trailer that Kanan is kind of like, just watch out for Maul, like talking to Ezra. Well, but not like rejecting him or like they're still meeting with each other. And
it's really
kind of weird.
And I saw a thing today that Filoni, in some interview around Celebration or something around that, he was talking about how Darth Maul had been planned for a long time to die in Season 2 finale.
Right.
That was going to be the end of his thing, but they felt like it wasn't really culminating to that. Like he needed his own separate thing, especially with all the stuff with Ahsoka that was going on.
Yeah.
So Maul was supposed to die, so we'll see if or when that happens. But obviously he didn't, so now there's going to be all that play up between him and Ezra now.
There was a point in Clone Wars, I think it was after his brother died, that you kind of felt like, okay, Maul's kind of run his course. It's time for him to go.
Yeah.
That's what I felt like anyway. But not to say that the rest of his story wasn't interesting. It just, you could kind of see where maybe he was intended to.
I felt like there was so much stuff it was Savage Opress, right? That's Maul's brother.
Yeah.
I felt like it was so much focused on him and not Maul when you just wanted to have Maul do stuff, and it was all focused on Savage, and I never really cared all that much about him because he, I don't know, it was just not interesting as a character to me.
Maul?
No, Savage.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know. But yeah, that's when I just kind of got tired of both of them. When it's
it
like,
was
all right, I get Savage as he can't contain his anger with his powers, and he just wants to fight all the time.
But and there was that whole deal where it seemed like he couldn't live up to Dooku's expectations, and was just constantly getting,
I guess,
I don't know, beat up. Like Dooku was the only one who was more powerful.
Yeah. And
you could, he hated the fact that Dooku was more powerful because he was completely based on power.
Yeah. I mean, that's their whole lifestyle from where they come from is
the Sith or
no, Savage and Maul.
Dathomir.
Yeah. Their whole thing is,
what are they called? That race? They're from Dathomir, but they're not the natives on Dathomir are the women, right?
Well, there's the two clans. There's the men and the women are the ones in charge of pull the men to be.
What's his race?
Warriors.
Is it Devaric? That sounds familiar, right?
It is completely slipping my mind.
At least we,
know stuff.
At least we did some research. For an episode for
Darth Maul, the guy that's in the thing.
The guy.
It's Dathomirian.
It's not it. There's
Dathomirian?
There's no way. Look up Darth Maul's race.
That's what it says
and I guarantee
on Google.
You looked up Darth Maul or you looked up Dathomir?
Darth Maul.
That's not right.
Mm-hmm.
That can't be right.
That's what it says on Google's.
Keep talking.
So, yeah. So while Michael confirms what I've already confirmed, so I wanted to talk about...
I got Pokevision up.
I wanted to talk about one other thing
around here.
One other thing with Thrawn is obviously back in the original Thrawn books, one of the big things was the was it Ysalamiri?
Yeah.
The salamanders that blocked the Force.
The Force bubbles. It was like a negative Force energy that
cancels out the Force, so nothing can happen around them. I think that was either brought up in a Q&A or somewhere else. And
You've got nothing around here.
No Pokemon here. Sorry.
Nothing.
Stop catching Pokemon on the podcast. You.
There's a Pidgey across the street, but that's it.
Well.
All right,
go.
What was I looking at? Wait a second.
It's Dathomir.
Do we have to talk about Pokemon?
Because it's Dathomirian and Zabrak.
Zabrak. That's
is the two things that are listed for his species.
Well, he only has one species. It's Zabrak. It's not Dathomirian.
Maybe that's just his. I don't know. Who knows?
I don't know who I was thinking of when I said.
Anyways, someone asked about the Ysalamiri. And they said, that wasn't going to be something they were going to keep around with the Thrawn story just because it would be too difficult to bring into the universe and explain that they exist and then basically aren't involved anywhere else, which makes sense. That's and
did you see that conversation that Filoni had with George Lucas about that at some point?
I don't remember that.
Was it George Lucas or was it somebody else? At some point, Filoni had a conversation about that. I don't know how it came up. I'd have to find that interview again, but I assume it was George was saying that because the Force is based on life, it's life energy, that a living being couldn't necessarily have a power like that in his mind.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it was Lucas that said this.
To block just some life, like a life force.
Like a life force
inside you.
A life force, because of the way the Force works, because it's life energy, could never generate a bubble that would cancel out the Force. The Force doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
So
it's like if you couldn't breathe when you were near me. It's not, I don't know.
Huh?
It's kind of like if people just couldn't breathe.
Oh, Tyler, I can't.
You take my breath away. No, but like if you got near me and your heart stopped beating, just because I have some weird bubble around me, I can't control your being. There's nothing that can control.
It's sort of like that
internal being in existence.
I guess.
It's like if someone was unable to think consciously around a certain object.
It's like if I could cancel out carbon molecules, but I'm made of carbon molecules. It doesn't make sense, I need to find that interview. Maybe we can tweet it out or something. But that was basically why they decided. I think that was why he decided that not to have them in canon, real canon.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, Filoni there's another thing with Filoni talking about just the Force in general, and even midichlorians that I was reading, and how he was kind of explaining how the midichlorians work to him, and just like
who was explaining this?
Filoni.
Oh yeah,
Like he was like, you know, explaining them as something that we should all accept because obviously it exists and it's canon, but at the same time, it's almost like, you know, to him the midichlorians is like, okay, so you and I could learn to fight karate, to be a, you know, karate master. We could learn and practice and do it really, you know, we could try really hard to get really good.
Okay. I like this.
But there are certain people like Bruce Lee who just have a like it just comes to them. Like they are amazing at it. And even though he did practice and he did train for it, but it was just natural, like natural ability. Like even sports stars.
Wait a second. That doesn't make sense because then you could learn someone who Do midichlorians
can go train in the Force?
Do midichlorians exist in everyone?
Yes.
That's what was established in Phantom Menace,
yes.
right?
But it's the
and you have different counts.
The midichlorian count, which people were like, that doesn't make any sense. So to him, he was saying the midichlorians is like just a natural ability. Like there are sports stars who are, you know, people that run track, who are like insane, amazing at running track. Like their bodies were built to do what they are doing.
So everyone
I cannot change my body to make me have a knack for running track. I can practice really hard and like build muscle and try really hard to be good at track, but I'm never going to be a 7-foot tall dude that can just like blast a 10-meter.
But does that mean everyone has an innate ability to connect with the Force?
If they train it, if they want to train in it. It requires training and, you know, a process with obviously like the Jedi train Jedi. But like Anakin was just like using the Force as a child, pod racing without even knowing that he was using the Force. He didn't know the Force was a thing.
Well, yeah. So forget Anakin because Anakin was the chosen one and was completely connected to the Force. Let's just say there's some kid.
He was assumed to be a chosen one.
Well, he was. That was the whole deal.
They thought he was the chosen one.
He was the chosen one, right?
As far as they thought.
Yeah, I guess it was just a prophecy.
He kind of screwed that one up.
He was a chosen one for something.
To do something, and don't
not
think it was
what they
thought. Yeah, it was not the thing they wanted him to do.
Masters select younglings because they feel a connection to the Force in them, right? I assume that's
obviously the innate ability would make them easier to train and better.
But you're saying that everyone can.
Someone could think of Chirrut in Rogue One. He does not use the Force.
But he has a connection to it,
He has a connection to it. So, I mean, there's a small ability, and if you train in it, and, like, I think he's some kind of almost like a monk person. So I'm sure he's religious. He's probably learned about it and put some more thought into it than just a regular Joe on the street. He's connected himself to it.
Okay, but why at that point, if he's meditated on it that much, why at that point can he not use the Force?
Because of that innate ability. Like I can go outside and jog every day for a year. I will never be able to like run hurdles. Like I'm never going to be in the Olympics.
So it's all based on the levels, the counts.
Yes.
Not necessarily just the existence.
There is an innate ability of people like Anakin and other Jedi who like they are the Bruce Lee of the Force. Like they have this ability that no one else has had. No one else has.
Because of their midichlorian counts.
Yes.
Okay,
so it's almost like that, just innate ability of, you know, this is how their muscle mass work. Like for an athlete, this is just how their muscles work and their metabolism works, and they're just able to do a thing that I will never be able to do. I can train really hard and get pretty good at it, or maybe even okay at it, but I'm never going to do it.
I could agree with that.
That was the first thing I've ever read that made me realize, okay, that makes sense with midichlorians. That was just the first thing, because I've always, you know, almost everyone hates just the term midichlorians because it seemed like it was shoehorned in and it suddenly didn't make sense with the universe that we knew. But that makes sense now that I've heard that.
Yeah, the only thing I don't agree with is that anyone can be trained to use the Force. I think just as a blanket...
Maybe not use the Force.
Just as a blanket statement, I think that's false.
Probably not use the Force. And I would have to read back his article to know the exact wording he used, but it was more of that. Sure. You know, people, you know, midichlorian count, there's an innate ability. You know, some people may have a low one and they may just be able to feel things like Chirrut. He's blind, but he can still fight.
Right.
You know, so some people may have a lower ability, but some people just have the innate ability of their midichlorian count is crazy. And even if they don't know what the Force is, they're pretty much using the Force, you know, unknowingly, like Anakin.
Right. People with a certain level count, people with a higher count feel that connection more, I'm sure, because it's, if what George was saying about midichlorians, the fact that they're these little bacteria or whatever,
That is,
if more of those exist inside you, I assume you could feel that. Yeah, that's why you feel that connection more.
So yeah, just talking about Dave Filoni, we got into this big spiel of metachlorians, but I just came back to my mind, and
that's what this podcast is for. Is to talk about
it's
stuff
just one
like
of the first times I've read about metachlorians and been okay with the explanation and like it. And if anyone's going to do that, Dave Filoni is. Yeah. He's very good at explaining things like that. Every
time you hear him talk, he always will throw in something about a discussion he's had with George about.
It's stupid crazy.
well, yeah, the fact
great.
that
it's amazing. Yeah,
he would have questions about like core Star Wars things
because he cares about it.
Yeah, when he was doing Clone Wars or whatever, and would just go talk to George about it, and they would just sit there and talk and. George would give his ideas, and then now that's made its way back into things that we enjoy.
Yes.
Go figure. George involved in something that we enjoy.
I think that's the process now. There's more of a process of talking and discussing and figuring it out, especially now that we have Pablo like in charge of... He's not in charge of canon. He's basically in charge of storytelling of Star Wars.
Well, actually, no, because there's a story director at Lucasfilm who's not Pablo. She's like above Pablo. I can't remember her name now.
I think
she was on the Rogue One panel. I think
maybe. Yeah, I think so.
I don't remember her name. She was
sitting down there at the very end.
Yeah.
I
don't remember her name, but I think Pablo works for her, or they work together in some way.
Because Pablo said this on YouTube, or not on YouTube, on Twitter recently. He was saying, "My job is not keeping track of canon. My job is not canon. My job is world building." Like I make, my job is to make sure that the world building for Star Wars, like I'm not trying to make sure things are sticking to canon. Is this canon all the time? He said, my job is to help build the Star Wars world.
But at the same time, you can't do that unless you have an established canon. And
well, I mean, obviously he has to make sure because the world of Star Wars has laws and has, these are the bounds of the universe. He has to make sure stuff.
So yeah, his job isn't only to
he's not like the canon police. He's trying to make even if something something new or something different can be added into canon, as long as it fits within the confines of the world of Star Wars.
He's trying to expand that bubble.
Yes,
but while staying true to what makes that bubble.
Whereas I feel we'd never had that before.
It was just whatever George felt at the time.
George would okay things, and people would just like write or make up whatever they wanted, and George would be like, yeah, all right, that's fine. Whereas people like Filoni would like have a conversation,
or would disagree with it and not explain why.
Yes. But Filoni would have a conversation and like discuss it to make sure, because he wants it to make sense.
It seemed like they had a pretty cool relationship.
Yeah,
the fact that he could just do that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
which that emphasizes how important Dave Filoni is to the universe right now.
I don't expect him to stop being involved in Star Wars stuff for a long time.
After Rebels? Oh, no way. No.
I hope he's involved in a movie at some point.
Has there been any word about I guess that would be kind of silly to think about what he's going to do after Rebels.
Yeah.
Because it's not even done.
I think, didn't they say, wasn't it assumed Rebels' length was like 3 to 5 seasons, something like that?
I don't know, but he hasn't said that this is the last season, so
no.
We could get more after this.
I say put him on the live action TV show after this. Put him on the Netflix series.
Yeah, which we'll talk about in a few minutes. We've got that in here. But
we can just roll into that. It's fine.
By the way, Darth Maul is a Zabrak
from Dathomir, so he's a Dathomir.
No, he's not from Dathomir. He's from Iridonia. Remember not the Night Sisters, but the women from Dathomir steal males.
Was that another planet that they were stealing them from?
Yeah, from Iridonia, Zabraks, and I guess they train them.
They like make them
or breed
warriors.
Them. It's like
they make them warriors. Yeah,
it's like they breed them.
They're like a warrior race who has they pick the best.
I guess they are all Knights. They're all called Night Sisters.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? Remember that old Legends novel that had Night Sisters in it? They were like Force witches.
No.
You remember that? Yoda had some dealing with them. I never read the book.
I remember them discussing having involvement with Yoda, but I don't remember any EU stuff with it.
I just wonder. I never read that book, so I wonder if it was the same Night Sisters that they had in in Clone Wars.
I'm sure it was based off of that.
The same like Zabraks.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like Filoni likes to pull from the EU and from like ideas that he liked to add back into Star Wars.
Who? Filoni?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
With the Night Sisters and Thrawn and just everything that he's kind of popped back in because it was a good idea, but maybe not executed.
Didn't
or added.
quite fit in the way it existed.
It was just something that existed in that one piece of media, but never like was
Yeah.
built around or added onto. So as we were talking about TV shows and mentioning the live TV show, this was something I found interesting recently. Is Matthew Graham? He's a co-creator of some TV shows like Life on Mars, Ashes to Ashes. But he sat down
I've
with.
never heard of either of those.
I've heard of them. I've never watched either of them,
No.
so I don't know how good he is.
Quick sidebar: did you hear about the new Ron Howard and Brian Glazer Mars like documentary / sci-fi show
No,
that they're working on?
what?
It sounds incredible. It's set in 2020 something,
Okay,
and it's this. It's a sci-fi show. It's fake, but it's filmed as if it was a documentary, and people like Andy Weir, the author of whatever the Martian.
like it's a full documentary. Like they're talking about something, some real thing, but it's all these actual people that would know about that kind of stuff.
Andy Weir is involved in making it.
That's
NASA was involved in making it. All these real organizations about
really cool.
as if this was real,
Yeah,
but it's fake.
that's
And
awesome.
it's like a dramatization of what it would be like to go to Mars, for a team to go to Mars.
That's really awesome.
It sounds incredible.
I've not heard about that at all.
It's not out yet, but they're making it right now.
Is it going to be like a movie that goes to theaters?
It's
thing?
a TV show.
It's a TV show,
Yeah.
so like a episodic, like Planet Earth.
Something
Kind
like
of.
that, yeah. But I don't know.
Obviously, not. There's not like
I can't
David
remember.
Attenborough doing a
Yeah.
voiceover of Mars. And here we see the red dust. See how it blows.
And over there, of course, more
Dust.
red dust.
Just hour-long episodes of that, just over and over.
Anyway,
Here we see a dune.
I thought you were gonna say a dude.
Here we see a dude.
Hey, bro.
You found me.
Well, you guys are here too. Oh, dude.
Why is he so blasted on Mars?
Are you eating the dirt?
Just like snorting it. It's just like mouth and his nose are just covered in red.
Dude, it's definitely getting you high. Anyway.
This is our version of the Ron Howard documentary of Mars.
What, dude? Wow. It's like freaking Mars, dude.
Just a dude on Mars. It's that TV show, the last man on Earth, but it's just
Come ride this rover, dude. Wow, that's a clip.
and he's dead.
And that was the end of Dude.
That was the end of Mars, dude. Tune in next week for more red dust.
Red. Anyway,
Anyways,
it sounded cool.
as I was talking about the Star Wars TV show, Matthew Graham, co-creator of shows like Life on Mars and Ashes to Ashes,
Stuff we never heard of.
he sat down with another place I've never heard of, but respect to them for getting the interview with this guy called Den of Geek. And they brought up his
I
involvement.
mean, that's
with
our shtick, not really knowing about anything or
Yeah,
hearing
yeah.
about anything.
whatever. So they had an interview with him, and they brought up his involvement in the live-action Star Wars show that had been in development for like a decade now with George Lucas.
That Lucas had talked about so long ago. I remember that.
There was plans forever about it,
Yeah.
and they asked about he reconfirmed the involvement of even Ronald D. Moore from Battlestar Galactica fame and Star Trek fame. Like he had been involved in it, and he even brought up this long-running rumor that had been around back then as well, was that George Lucas called for 50 scripts. So like the full run 50 script
From different
episode.
authors or what?
No, he just and it gets into it in the conversation, but so this is the quote from Matthew Graham saying his new strategy, speaking of George Lucas, that was very bold, was let's get 50 scripts that are really good and let's start making a show. We'll know where the show's going. We'll be able to tell any actor or director that this is what's going to happen in 20 weeks' time. He wanted 50 scripts, and we got to the point where there were 50 scripts. Some of them were first draft, some of them were even at a third draft, and some needed lots more work. Some were in really good shape, though. We had a good sense of the overview of the world and where it was going. And then when he was asked if whether or not he had heard if Disney would revive the project, Graham had more to offer. He said, I went up and saw Lucasfilm in their new offices at Disney while they were still in prep on Episode 7. I know that they've got the scripts and that the scripts have been read, but what they plan to do with it, there's a big long-term strategy for Star Wars that's being formulated, and only a few people actually
Right, so they don't know if that's
going
going
to entails.
They don't know if that's going to fit into it.
No. So this live-action Star Wars show that had been in development for 10 years, basically, has 50 scripts. Disney has the 50 scripts, and some of them were even on like a third draft and have been worked over to being a full script for a TV show.
And through those scripts, there's like an overview of the story. There's a world.
Well, that was like, he basically
characters.
wanted to have the first 50 episodes written out so that he could say, this is where the show's going, and we'll have time to write, keep going after that.
That's awesome.
So for George to write that far ahead on something and like wanted to plan out the whole world,
yeah, it's kind of weird.
That's pretty awesome. But the fact that there are 50 scripts in existence, it's finally been confirmed that those do exist and Disney has them.
Huh.
There's got to be a TV show at some point, right?
You can't just throw that away. Well, I mean, let's say these scripts don't even exist.
I mean,
there's going to be a live action.
He had treatments for Episode 7. He had treatments for Episode 8 and 9, supposedly. He had treatments for everything.
Sure.
Treatments, not like full scripts written out or anything.
But let's say you're Disney and these scripts didn't exist. You're going to make a live action Star Wars TV show at some point. Yeah.
I mean, they're doing it with Marvel on Netflix. They've got to put a Star Wars TV show on Netflix at some point.
I mean, they're starting up how many 2-3 new shows now in the next year or so?
On Netflix?
For Marvel.
Yeah, so I mean, right now on Netflix, they've had 2 seasons of Daredevil.
Yeah.
They've had a season of Jessica Jones.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has been going forever.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
That's not Netflix related.
Peggy Carter, but those were put on Netflix after the fact.
Yeah.
They have the Luke Cage season is coming up.
That's coming up.
The trailer was at Comic-Con. They have an Iron Fist season coming up, and then after that, they're going to have the group show where they all fight together against whatever.
Right. And then more of all the other shows.
Yeah, and there's going to be a second season of Jessica Jones. We know that. So I mean, they're
and a third of Daredevil.
They're doing the whole Marvel comic.
The Punisher.
Universe.
There's going to be a Punisher series.
There's a Punisher series coming
up soon.
So basically, what they've done with the movies with Avengers, they're doing with the TV shows with Daredevil and Jessica Jones.
So you'd be crazy not to do that with Star Wars. I mean, even if you didn't have
we don't need a group show like the Avengers at any point. But
it's not the same deal. But still,
yeah, it's
going to exist at some point.
Yes.
But now you've got all of this story where there's a starting point. There's at least some inspiration.
I mean, it depends on how much they changed or what time frame it was supposed to happen in, but
that's exciting.
You have something, and there's something in existence.
Right. Even if they don't use any of it, it could trigger new ideas or whatever.
They need to wrap up Rebels. No offense to Rebels. And stick Dave Filoni on a Netflix show. Just let him go.
Do you think he could direct a live action TV show?
Why not?
I don't know. It's different. I think it's different. It's more compressed.
Obviously.
Because you've got a long time to develop an animated show.
If not direct it, I mean, write it. Or help write it.
Does he write? He doesn't write.
I mean, he obviously is a big part of the creation and ideas for most of it.
Yeah, he's like more of a director-producer.
Creative director.
Is he producer? He's a director on that stuff, right?
I don't know what all his titles are. I know he has tons.
Obviously, he's a show creator. Yeah, I wonder what his day-to-day looks like for Rebels. Is it actually writing stuff, like you're saying, like coming up with ideas, or is it?
Well, I know he's written. I mean,
is it like turning down ideas that other people come up with?
I mean, yeah, he's the director for Rebels, Clone Wars, and he was even a director for a while, for a few episodes of Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Oh, jeez. Really?
You didn't like Avatar?
No.
Really? It was great. Oh, so good.
Avatar Airbender. You're talking about. Yeah.
Not Avatar, the film, because that sucked.
Well, I didn't like either one.
Avatar was pretty good. For its time, it was a good anime. So I mean, he is director, but
no comment.
I liked it.
What was that?
I don't know. I think you can I think you can make him a creative director for a TV show, for a live action.
What was that
TV
anime
show.
I started watching recently?
I don't know.
Alchemy?
Maybe.
Shoot. What was it called?
Full Metal Alchemist.
Yes. That's so good.
The show that's been around forever.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. Are you watching the original?
Most anime has been around forever.
Have you been watching the original Full Metal Alchemist or Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood?
The original.
Okay.
But only the first couple episodes.
They're the same story.
Oh, but redone?
Yes.
The second one's redone?
So the first one, the original Full Metal Alchemist, like finished before the manga finished. The manga finished.
Oh, really?
Yes. So they went back and made Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood years later, and it matches the story of, because after a while they caught up to the manga and they just had to make up their own stories, and then they finished it.
So the
with a
manga
different ending.
changed? Like it had a different ending than...
Well, because the show finished before the manga had finished.
But the manga didn't just copy the show. They came up with their own...
No. Yeah. So it had a totally different ending. So they made Brotherhood, which, has a little bit better animation, has some better... it actually has better music. And then it's the full story of the manga. So it's actually slimmed down a little bit from the original. Because they don't have to have all those tap dancing episodes of like, we're caught up to the manga, so let's make up a story. They just did the show.
I felt like Attack... Well, I guess it's all manga.
Yeah.
Or all... What do they call it?
Manga.
No, what's the animated... What's it called?
Anime.
Yeah. Just think of something different.
I don't know. It's not that hard. Anime. Say animation, but stop like halfway through.
I was going to say, I felt like Attack on Titan was like that too. Where they were just kind of... There are episodes that were just kind of...
No, that was,
like throwaway.
The first season was like, they already had all the manga for that.
Well, I know it's not the same. And same with like Death Note. All of that manga was done by the time the TV show started. But there were still these episodes where it was just throwaway episodes where it was just so long and
but they
drawn
weren't
out.
Throwaway because the manga already existed for it. That's the weird thing.
Well, yeah, like at the end of the episode, there'd be something that you actually cared about happening that advanced the story. But like the whole rest of the episode was just like character dramas.
Some of it was
so slow.
This has been the anime portion of the Hokey Religion Star Wars podcast.
And what were we talking about?
Dave Filoni doing a live action TV show.
Oh, whether he could direct it, yeah.
Maybe creative director.
I don't remember how we started talking about anime, though. How did we start talking about that?
You said something about alchemy, and I've been watching an anime. And I was like, Full Metal Alchemist? You said, yeah, and then we had this whole conversation about it.
Why did I say that?
I have no idea, because you're an insane person. I have no idea.
What were we talking
Your
about?
brain falls out of your face.
I make connections that exist. I don't just...
Dave Filoni manga anime! Like, have these tiny strokes on the podcast.
Would you ever want a Star Wars anime?
Wasn't that the first
I have an
Clone
opinion
Wars?
on this already.
Wasn't that the first Clone Wars?
No, that wasn't anime. I wouldn't say that it was anime.
It was basically Star Wars Samurai Jack.
Well, yeah, that's not anime. That's just Gendy. That's just Gendy Tartakovsky being him.
I guess. I would consider Samurai Jack to be an anime.
I disagree.
Really?
Yeah. I think that's just his style.
I mean, since we're not on Star Wars anymore, I can't wait for more Samurai Jack to come out.
The new season. Did you watch the trailer for it?
Yeah.
There was like that behind the scenes. Did I send you
Yeah.
that? Yeah. Oh my gosh, it looks so good.
It does look good. Anyways, Star Wars.
And they still have, like, they've got the end of it figured out, or most of the story
That's nice.
figured out. So they've got a lot of surprises. Like Gendy was saying in that behind the scenes that he knows a lot of the story and what it's going to look like, but he doesn't want to say anything about it because he wants it to be a surprise.
That's good.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
That show was so good.
I was disappointed. They were saying apparently the voice actor for what's his name?
Jack?
No, the villain.
Oh, yeah, I can't remember his name.
Shoot. Ugh. It's on the tip of my tongue.
Buttskin.
Anyway. Yeah, for the voice for Buttskin died. So he's not coming back.
So he can't do it?
No,
He can't do it?
sorry. He is coming back possibly.
Wait, what?
But it's a different
From the dead?
No, not the actor.
Okay, all right.
No, sorry.
Whew.
The character.
Okay.
The character is coming back, but a different voice actor. So it could be. There was some like disappointment that I picked up on that I wasn't sure if the character's not coming back or he is coming back, but it's a different voice actor.
I cannot remember what the characters' names are.
Aku. Yes.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, I remembered something. Yes. High five. High five. High five. High five. High five. High five. Stop high-fiving me. Jeez, what is your deal?
Can't turn down a high five, bro.
Anyway, what were we talking about?
Star Wars TV shows.
How did we get on Samurai Jack? You brought it up.
You brought up Full Metal Alchemist.
You started bringing up whether Samurai Jack was anime or not.
It was.
How did we get there?
Because you talked about Full Metal Alchemist.
This was like 5 minutes ago.
You brought up Full Metal Alchemist.
I don't remember.
I will never listen back to this to find out.
Me neither.
All right, then it's decided. We agreed to not listen to our show.
Oh, we're running out of time. We got more notes here.
Yeah, we've got 20 minutes. Buckle up, guys. All right, so we talked about the TV show, which, again, there's 50 scripts in existence. There's got to be a TV show at some point because that's just the Disney way.
Like I'm saying, it's going to happen at some point.
And coming off of TV shows, we'll just head straight to movies with the Han Solo film.
Yes.
The standalone film.
What was that? What's that all about?
Because I want it to just be one.
Oh.
There's the rumor out there.
Oh, we'll talk about this.
We'll talk about this right now.
I have an opinion.
Me too. So apparently, speaking to New York Daily News, an insider said there's a sense of excitement around the Han Solo movie and its potential, given that Han's early adventures do not need to be tied to the Empire, which I've got to comment on that. It leaves storylines open with the opportunity to really give fans something different. They can explore new galaxies and crazy creatures and bring in a wide array of new characters. They feel that his character has the right potential to become a central figure in several movies. He's already been a central figure in several movies, but moving on.
So Agent Coulson, if you will, of Star Wars.
Yeah, exactly. They're keeping things under wraps at the moment, but the deal is that he has signed for at least 3 movies. So there's 2 big publications that have said that he has signed on for 3 movies now.
Really?
Not necessarily Han Solo standalone films, but just 3 movies in general.
Oh.
I mean, they just said 3 movies. I don't know.
Well, then I misunderstood your
others.
comment when we were talking about this earlier.
Someone else, and that's apparently typically in the realm of acting and theater. Sometimes you are just signed up. Like people like Disney will sign you on for 3 just to basically lock you in, so they don't have to pay you more once you explode as an amazing actor in one of their films.
Yeah, because this guy that they chose, Alden Einstein.
Yep, Alden Einstein. It's Alden Ehrenreich. Steven Spielberg discovered him at a bar mitzvah. No joke. That's just the thing. So apparently he's been signed on for. Apparently the rumor is he's been signed on for 3 films.
He's been in Hail Caesar. He's been in.
I mean, yeah, he's just suddenly in.
He was in Stoker.
Yeah.
He was in. Jeez, a lot of stuff.
So apparently
he was in Tetro.
The rumor is he's been locked in for 3 films. Huh. The rumor is. I do not want the Han Solo standalone film to turn into a trilogy.
All right, this is now a debate.
Yes.
Go. Argue your side, and then I'll go. Because I have a different opinion.
I know. I don't feel that we need 3 movies about young Han Solo. We don't want to turn it into the young Indiana Jones movies either.
You're stealing some of my argument.
We can get to that, but that's how I feel about it. I don't think we need 3 films because I don't know what the story is or what they're going to focus on with the one movie that they have planned.
Yeah.
But a film, when you make a film, the story has one focus. This is the arc. This is the beginning, middle, and end, and this is the one story and the one little thing we're focusing on. Han has so much shit through his entire life to focus on. I would rather them make that the TV show.
Okay, so yeah, let's be clear. Your argument is 1 movie and a TV show.
7 seasons in a movie.
It's 6 seasons in a movie.
I know, whatever. I want 7.
All right, let's fight. My argument is there should be several movies because there are so many legends about Han.
Yes.
That have been explored in the Legends books.
Yes.
Now Legends books that we don't know if they exist anymore. So there's so many opportunities now to go back to Han's swoop racing days that we had in the books. His encounters with bounty hunters that he has relationships with, like Fett and Dengar and all these people. How did the rivalry between Fett and Han develop? You know, I mean, that's something they could cover in the first movie. I don't know if they would.
We'll see.
Seems like kind of an obvious thing to cover, but
yeah,
there's a lot of. My point is, there's a lot of stuff there. There could be 3 movies of just Han.
I'm not saying there couldn't be.
There's his.
I just don't want more Han Solo standalone films taking the place of other films of other stories that we probably need.
I can't think of other stories that we would need besides.
And I don't see there being a reason to have 3 films again with that whole a movie having an arc of, this is the main sole focus of the film and this is the story we're focusing on with Han for this film.
I can agree with you
Han
there.
has so much. I don't think 3 movies is going to cut it, and it's going to feel like, all right, here's the big Han Solo story we're covering now. I don't know.
Everything that we know about Han right now, he is kind of a one-dimensional character, where he's like, he's all hard on the outside, but soft on the inside.
It's like Snickers,
yeah. A frozen Snickers. Right?
It's soft on the inside. If it was frozen, it'd be hard.
It's hard on the outside and soft on the inside.
It wouldn't be soft if it was frozen.
It's soft everywhere if it's just normal.
It's got a layer.
What do you call Snickers? Snickers, the marshmallows, right? That's what you call Snickers?
Yep.
Okay.
No, I said sneakers.
Sneakers?
Yeah, just the shoes. They're hard.
Sneakers.
They got the rubber, and then on the inside, there's the foot.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Okay.
It's all soft.
Yeah, exactly.
And then if you get far enough, there's bone. It's hard.
Yeah, it's hard, soft, and hard.
Okay.
And then
it's more like a sandwich.
And then the bleach and its whole thing. But go ahead.
Anyway.
Anyway.
What was I talking about? I don't know what I was talking about.
Han Solo films. I don't think there needs to be more films.
Oh, yeah. I agree with you that it would seem like if they had 3 films that they would have to kind of come up with what's our focus on Han about this time.
Yeah. What's the Han Solo story this week?
Besides, yeah.
Yeah.
So
this time he's swooping.
But I think that's the bad thing about having a Han TV show, which at this point no one's saying there is going to be a Han TV show.
This is
your wish.
Copyright. My idea. Call me Disney.
I think that's the bad thing about a Han TV show, because you could get into something like Young Indiana Jones where it's the same thing over and over again.
It depends if it's the Netflix format of like 13 episodes season, like ongoing
shorter
series.
Seasons, you mean?
Yes. I mean, like
more compressed.
Yeah, like they do with obviously Sherlock's even shorter, but
any British TV show does that. Yeah,
but they do like 8 episodes for like Orphan Black.
It's more compressed,
like 8 or 10 episodes.
Yeah.
I think you can have an ongoing story without having to tap dance around, like adding in extra stories that you don't need.
Well, yeah, look at Doctor Who. How long has that been running? And
that's still a fairly short season. It's still like only 13 episodes, I think.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But
it's been running for a very long time, and it's been rougher more recently.
Well, there've been some good episodes. Some.
I did not finish last season, honestly.
Me neither. No, it wasn't last season. I didn't watch any of last season. I watched the one with the dinosaur. That started out with the dinosaur.
That was the first episode.
But there was that season, and then there's been another one after that, right?
Not
Isn't
yet.
there?
It hasn't come out yet.
That was the most recent season?
That was like the first episode.
Well,
that was the first episode of the last season.
Okay, well, I couldn't remember if that was a season, if there had been 2 seasons of Peter Capaldi.
There's going to be.
Okay.
I don't think it's happened yet, but
I couldn't remember if there were 2.
Peter Capaldi is an amazing person and actor.
It's Peter, right? Peter Capaldi. Okay.
I don't think I like him.
I like Doctor Who. Oh, it's Peter Capaldi.
I haven't cared for him as the Doctor, and I'm super tired of Clara. But that's...
Jeez, he was better than Matt Smith. I know we disagree about this. we don't need to talk about Doctor Who.
That David Tennant is the best Doctor of all time ever. David Tennant...
No, we can't agree on that.
Really?
Ever? Completely?
David Tennant was amazing.
Of the rebooted Doctor Who or
the rebooted Doctor Who.
Okay, then we disagree.
You think Ecclestein, what is that called?
Einstein.
Eccleston.
Einstein.
Okay. Einstein.
Alden Einstein is who you're thinking of.
You like Eccleston better, even though he was only in one little Daily Bubber.
Yeah. I think he was... Yeah, he was tortured and like he just tried to project a happy persona, but inside he was in pain.
Anyway, Star Wars. So
we've talked about everything but Star Wars.
I think there could be a Netflix Han Solo series. Obviously, that would be difficult, but I think they could be done.
I don't know, man. I don't think.
But going back to that quote, them saying this is before Han Solo is involved in the Empire or involved with anything. So that depends too on what they're keeping with his origin story from the EU.
What do you mean?
He was part of the Empire. He was an Imperial officer in his origin story in the expanded universe. Han Solo freed Chewbacca from slavery while Han Solo himself was an Imperial officer.
He was a smuggler then. He was never part of the Empire.
False.
Okay.
Do you not know this?
This is huge if I
Do
don't
you not know
this.
that? Hokey is hiring a co-host that knows anything about Star Wars.
You cannot be right about that.
Han Solo. Okay, so Han Solo.
Obviously, I know the story about how he freed.
He
Chewbacca.
was an Imperial he was an Imperial officer. He wasn't part of the Empire at that point.
Can't believe I'm looking up Han Solo on Wikipedia right now.
Wikipedia? Yeah.
Wikipedia, not
Yeah.
Wikipedia.
No, Wikipedia.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. He was part of the Empire at that point.
So are we just gonna
for the EU
Are we gonna
story.
pause the podcast while we read this? Because this is huge.
I'm flabbergasted. A word that I've never used before, that you would not know this about Han Solo.
So we're just gonna read.
Yep. We're reading it right now.
Is this? Are we talking? We're talking legends here, right?
We're talking legends.
Okay. Well,
Yep.
where's the legends tab? There's usually a tab, right, on here.
Yeah.
Let's just narrate what we're doing right now.
Yep. All right. So we're looking at our cell phones, otherwise known as a telephone. Cellular device.
telephone.
So
I can't find how to look up legend stuff on a telephone.
So Han Solo, Michael is unaware of Han Solo being part of the Empire.
And I disagree. Tell me where you read this while we're looking this up.
It's the EU. That was the story.
Tell me how you know this. I want details.
I don't remember when it was from.
Look up legend stuff on here.
I don't remember when it was from.
What do you mean you don't remember when it was from?
He was an Imperial officer. I guarantee you he was an Imperial officer. It's part of the EU.
Legends. Okay, born. I'm just gonna start reading this born on Corellia. He was orphaned at an early age, and taken by a pirate, Garrus Shrike, to serve on his crew. Treated cruelly, blah blah blah. Solo became a smuggler. Solo then entered the Imperial Academy at Kurita.
There you go, Michael.
Serving with distinction.
Your life has changed forever. I had no idea.
I was still right. He was a smuggler first.
Yes, but he then became an Imperial officer.
He was kicked out, however, when he stopped an Imperial officer from beating a Wookiee named Chewbacca. Blah, blah, blah.
So he was an Imperial, and he was told to beat the Wookiees basically that they had captured, and he refused to. And when another Imperial officer went to beat Chewbacca, he stopped him and saved them and left. But he was part of the Empire.
This sounds familiar now. But I disagree with you that he was an Imperial, quote unquote.
He went to the Imperial Academy. He was officially an Imperial.
I don't think so.
I mean, obviously, he probably didn't have super strong ties to them. It's just like someone joining the army when they're 18. They're like, yeah, it was the thing I did.
The way you made it sounded like he was.
No, he wasn't in an Imperial, I don't know. He wasn't like an Imperial guard with the red outfit on, fighting people. He just joined the academy like everyone did. Like you're going to join the army. Like it was just a thing that he did. But he was an Imperial at one point.
You made it sound like he was an officer that defected or something.
No, he was an Imperial at some point.
He went to the academy.
So he was an Imperial.
I mean, Wedge went to the academy. Wedge was an Imperial pilot.
Yeah. So he was an Imperial.
But he's not an Imperial.
Han was serving with them until he decided that he didn't want Chewbacca and people to be beat, and he left.
Semantics.
Well, but he was an Imperial.
But he wasn't all anti-Imperial after he left. He just became a smuggler again.
Well, yeah, and then he became a rebel, and he just did whatever.
He became a rebel reluctantly.
Well, yes. Hence the film. So anyways, Han Solo TV show.
I think the point here that we can agree that I was right the first time.
No.
that he was a smuggler first. We can just
yes,
agree
he was.
on
He
that.
was a smuggler first. I agree with that.
We can just agree.
He was a smuggler
That I was
before
right.
and after, but he was an Imperial, which you were wrong on that point.
We could just agree that I was right.
At one point.
I was right.
At some point.
Completely.
One day.
Right?
Sometime.
Because
That one time.
this
Whenever.
anyway.
So anyways, I don't want 3 Han Solo films. I don't feel the need for those to take up film space when we have so many other stories to tell. When we know Han Solo has this whole storied life of being a smuggler, and maybe they put in the Imperial stuff, who knows? Obviously, he has to meet Chewbacca at some point. I don't know if that's going to take place in this film or if it's going to take place in film 72.
While we're talking about this, well, just to bring up again the fact that we both have not completed Life Debt at the time of this recording, which everyone else by now has, but that's life. Anyway,
We are the normal man. This is not our job. We have other jobs. We read the book when we can read the book. And I like having like a statute of limitations where obviously I want to give other people time to read the book as well. I need to give my time to read the book so that then we can talk about it and people don't have to skip an episode because, I haven't finished reading it yet because you also have a full-time job and 7 children and live in a shoe.
Wow, you really know me.
Well, I've been to your shoe.
I'm Mother Goose. That's what you're saying, right?
Who wasn't it? Mother Hubbard that lived in a shoe?
I thought
It was a Mother Goose story, but wasn't Mother Hubbard the one that lived in a shoe?
I thought Mother Goose was Mother Hubbard. Is this the holograph conversation that we had before recording?
Important distinction,
Do
everyone.
we have to talk about the
Oh, we're going to
conversation
talk
we
about
had?
it. So we were having a discussion about holographs and holograms, and then realized that we didn't realize why there were 2 words for holograph and hologram. So we looked it up. So a hologram is a product of holography. A holograph is a noun.
a hologram.
A holograph, noun, a hologram. So a holograph is just a hologram.
It's the same thing.
So there's really no reason for there to be 2 words. Enjoy in our anger at there being an unnecessary word.
So what I want to know is Mother Hubbard, Mother Goose.
No, we've talked about anime, we've talked about Mother Hubbard, we've talked about everything except for Star Wars.
Do we need to just
We're
drop
staying
that?
on track. We've got like 3 minutes left. Let's do this. We're gonna blast on through it. So I don't know. We'll see what happens with the Han Solo stories. There may be 3 films. There may not. Just don't feel like there needs to be a film about it.
Dang it, Mother Goose is a collection of fairy tales and nursery rhymes.
Exactly.
Mother Hubbard was she was a character in
In the shoe.
Dang it.
Was she a shoe lady?
She was in the shoe. Yeah, she was the shoe lady. So I was Mother Hubbard, not Mother Goose.
That's right. So, other Star Wars things. During an interview with Collider, J.J. Abrams said that he would love to see a Knights of Ren Star Wars anthology film. He said, I
read the same quote. That was very interesting.
Yeah,
to
he
me.
said, I gotta say, Kathy Kennedy, who's running it all, she seems to be pushing all the right buttons. There isn't something that I'd love to see.
Gross, JJ. Jeez.
Ooh. I think the question was, like, is there something Star Wars that you'd love to see come out? And he's like, there isn't something that I'd love to see. I guess the one thing I would say there's a Knights of Ren story that I think would be pretty cool to tell. So there is a story that exists for the Knights of Ren that he wants to be told.
And I'm thinking at this point,
It may come up.
this goes back
It may
to
come up through 8 and 9.
Well, yeah.
Here and there.
This goes back to what I've been saying for a while now, is that they don't have all of that stuff figured out yet. I think that stuff exists.
I mean, obviously, before they let JJ leave, before 7 was done, they have all the stories, they have everything written down, and like there's a vault somewhere with like these are all the ideas that we have right now for what's going to be in existence.
Right. I think that's my point, is that this all just exists in, like, maybe JJ has his own justification for some of the things that he put in 7.
But it may not. I mean, it's not all concrete. There's just ideas, probably.
Exactly. Which is why we're not seeing more stuff on, like, more backstory on the Knights of Ren and
We're probably, but I mean, that's going to be pushed all the way
Church
out.
of the Force.
That's probably going to be pushed out through all the way through 9, though. So I don't think we're going to get. Like we've talked about this before. We're not going to get stories about all of that until after 9 is done.
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to say is,
which sucks.
Yeah. We're probably not going to see any of that because they're still figuring it out.
Unless there's something crazy that's like told in 8 that like reveals all of the Knights of Ren story.
Yeah.
We're probably not going to have a book or anything else. I mean, they would likely do a comic about the Knights of Ren.
But not until after
until they've said anything in a film. Basically.
Unless something, really revelatory happens in 8.
If there's no more explanation of the Knights of Ren and all we have is that shot of them standing in the rain. That would be so frustrating.
That is cool, though. I would definitely I'd be excited
Knights of
for
Ren,
that.
like one off,
Yeah.
like in between 8 and 9.
Yeah.
That would be really cool.
Because not only would that give backstory on these mysterious characters, but it would give
we
backstory
know,
on...
We know between 8 and 9 is going to be the Han Solo film, so we know that's not where it's going to take place.
Well, so yeah, we'd get a backstory on those
be
guys,
after 9.
but we'd also get a backstory on Snoke, who I assume assembled, or at least helped Kylo assemble.
Yeah.
Because he was the one who crowned Kylo, like the master of the Knights of Ren, right?
Yeah, I guess.
So-
we don't know.
I'm pretty sure.
There's no real story behind that. So we need to wrap it up, but there's the last couple notes on Rogue One. We can talk about a few of these things later, but so there is going to be an Art of Rogue One book, just like the Art of the Force Awakens book came out. They announced that was coming out, so it'll probably be on release day of the film.
It's a pretty safe bet.
Yeah. A couple things that were confirmed. Gareth Edwards confirmed to Extra TV.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not sure if I'm allowed to do this, but I think I should. Han Solo's not in the film. No Han Solo in Rogue One from the mouth of the director.
I think I like that.
Yes. So there was thoughts that there'd be a cameo. So now Kathleen Kennedy confirmed to Extra as well that Hayden Christensen would also not be making an appearance in Rogue One.
Thank the Lord.
They're like, so there's been rumors about Hayden Christensen. She's just like, no, that's wrong. I'm just like,
Well, honey.
do you think I'm stupid?
Oh, honey.
Yeah. So confirmation of 2 rumored cameos for Rogue One from the director and then like the Lord of Lucasfilm
Where did all those rumors come from about Hayden?
everywhere else.
Do you remember how...
It's
Excuse
just
me, how they
the
started?
internet.
Yeah.
There were rumors that he had been talked to or like cast to film something for either Episode 8 or Rogue One. Maybe like a flashback. I think there was assumed there might be a flashback in Episode 8 or something with him, but
Yeah,
so
I'm
far,
still-
Rogue One, no Hayden Christensen, no Han Solo. It's just focusing on these other characters that they've created.
Speaking of Hayden Christensen, real quick, I was watching YouTube videos and that popped up, Star Wars YouTube videos, and that popped up as a related video, some interview that he did with somebody where they asked about if he was ever asked to come back, would he do it? And because that was in the headline of the video, the title of it. So I was like, ugh, I have to watch this. I guess I have to watch this, so I watched it. Then, skip, blah, 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 Hayden Christensen being him.
Yeah.
So accurate.
I know. They're animals. Slaughter them like animals. Yeah, anyways.
So he gets to the one part
Acting.
where they ask him that, and he's like, oh, yeah, if they ask, I think I would,
I have nothing else going on.
Exactly. Basically not saying,
If you were asked by the biggest film company to come back and be in their film, would you?
and we're paid millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Probably.
Good question, interviewer.
Basically confirming that, yes, he is a terrible person. And 2, he doesn't care at all about,
Whatever.
doesn't care at all about,
Oh, poor guy.
doesn't care about Star Wars.
I don't think he cares about acting. Anyways, so we need to wrap it up. So please follow us on Twitter at Hokey_religion. Shoot us an email. We have not had any submissions for Ask Lobot. We want questions to be crazy about because we're stupid. So send us an email at asklobot@hokeyreligion.com.
At this point,
we got our own domain.
Let's just say any questions you have. Let's just
Any
open it up.
questions? We talked about this before. If you have questions, I think we talked about the questions on puberty. I think we
If you have
brought that
questions
up.
about childbirth,
Childbirth. I brought this up. I said there was lots of juices.
Did we say that already?
Yeah, we did. That was actually a thing we said.
Oh, no.
Yep, we're just it's the loop of us.
What are we doing?
Yep. So we have a Facebook page. If you want to jump on there and like us, feel free. We have a YouTube page, which we will try to live stream to in the future, but we couldn't live stream this episode because YouTube was crappy and broken. So we need to fix some things with them. And just shoot us an email in general at
Don't we have other things like
YouTube and
Google Play.
Twitter.
And
we're on Google
Stitcher.
Play and Stitcher and
And,
iTunes. iTunes is probably the only place that accepts
shoot, what's that
reviews.
other one?
So
Tumblr.
please go on iTunes. We have a Tumblr.
created a
for
damn
no reason.
Tumblr account for us.
We have an iHeartRadio.
jeez.
Go to YouTube. Go to iTunes and
Why do we have all this shit?
numbers. So go to iTunes
Numbers.
and give us reviews because we want them. because we want to exist forever.
You know, we haven't gotten in a while? iTunes reviews.
We haven't gotten any
Why?
iTunes review in a long time.
Why do we not have any iTunes reviews?
We have downloads. Someone's downloading this episode. About 80 of you, I think, at this point, are downloading each episode.
By the time we record a new episode, yeah, we've gotten about
80 downloads an episode.
So somebody,
People are out there somewhere.
here.
Someone give us a damn review.
we need to be reviewed on iTunes because we are narcissists and we need to read about ourselves.
I need to know that those 80 downloads are not fake. Please validate my existence. Please.
Tyler leads a very sad life. Please.
Thank you. Anyways, this has been Hokey Religion for this week. This is Tyler.
Bye. Oh, and this is Michael.
This is Mike. This
I'm
is Tyler,
done.
and this is bye. See ya.
I'm done.
Hokey religions and ancient weapons. Hokey religions and ancient weapons are no match for a good blaster at your side.
Holograph? That's
Hologram? What's the difference in hologram and a holograph? I've never thought about that.
Wait a second. No, a holograph is printed on a 2D thing. It's like a printed image, right? That looks three-dimensional. And a hologram is something that's projected, right?
A holograph is a... Wait, what? A holograph. Noun. A hologram.
Well,
Hologram.
That's a
three-dimensional
solograph.
image of an object creation by holography. So a holograph is
It's a hologram.
And a hologram is something created by holography.
what?
Related terms. Holograph.
I never knew that.
So they're the exact... Why is there a different term then?
I think that's our episode title. A hologram is a holograph.